Hello there, my friends, and welcome back to the channel. As you can tell by the title, today I've got a movie review for you. And what movie are we going to be talking about? None other than the 2018 release, Samson. Now, folks, this is an amazing film, but before we get into it, for those of you who might be unfamiliar with the story of Samson, please allow me to fill you in. Now, in order to get a good look and a good feel and a good look at the foundation of the story of Samson, we've got to look at Judges chapter 13. Now, I'm going to read you the first several verses, and then we're going to dive into it. So, Judges chapter 13, the birth of Samson. And the people of Israel again did what was evil in the sight of the Lord. So the Lord gave them into the hand of the Philistines for 40 years. There was a certain man of Zorah of the tribe of the Danites, whose name was Manoah, and his wife was barren and had no children. And the angel of the Lord appeared to the woman and said to her, Behold, you are barren and have not borne children, but ye shall conceive and bear a son. Therefore be careful and drink no wine or strong drink, and eat nothing unclean. For behold, you shall conceive and bear a son. No razor shall come upon his head, for the child shall be a Nazarite to God from the womb. And he shall begin to save Israel from the hand of the Philistines. So, folks, right off the bat, we have this divine proclamation from God to this barren woman saying, you've never had a child before, but you're about to have a son, and he's going to be a Nazarite. Just absolute crazy. And what is a Nazarite? Well, let me break it down for you. And thanks to this, I'm using the English Standard Version. This is a study book version of the Bible, thanks to my cousin Lucas. So it says here, any man or woman could take a vow to become a Nazarite, to separate himself or herself to God. It was to be voluntary. It involved abstinence from wine, strong drink, or anything associated with the vine, no cutting of the hair, and no contact with the dead. Now, three things are unusual concerning Samson and his Nazarite vow. Number one says it was not voluntary. God ordered it from the womb. Two, it was to the last day of his death, meaning his whole life. And three, he broke every one of its stipulations. And yet God never left his side. Now, it doesn't say much. It doesn't say anything about Samson's childhood. It just says, he was born, and then boom, he's an adult. He's on his way to Timnah, and he encounters this lion. And it says that the Spirit of the Lord rushed over him, and he, tore this lion as you would a baby goat, or I can't remember, but tore this lion to pieces. I mean, folks, that's insane. Think of the world's strongest man today. Throw him in a cage with the lion. They don't stand a chance. I mean, so that right there, boom, we have this amazing, unheard of feat that is just wow. And it says he does not tell his father or his mother what he did. So he goes to Timnah, he sees this Philistine woman, boom, we see his weakness right off the bat. Women, So he sees this woman. Oh, I got to have her. I got to go back and tell my parents I got to have this woman. Well, on the way back, he encounters the lion carcass. And what's in there? But it's a beehive, swarm with bees, with honey. Sweeps some honey, eats some honey, takes some back to his parents. But he doesn't tell them, I got this honey from a dead carcass, which I wasn't supposed to touch because I just broke my Nazarite vow here. No, he just gives it to him, doesn't tell him anything. Well, he tells him about the woman, and right off the bat, no, she's unclean, Philistine, no. Well, he said, I don't care, I want her. So they have their wedding. Well, weddings back in the biblical times, they weren't just one day weddings, no, they were week-long events. So imagine, you think you know how to party? Imagine a Philistine wedding party thousands of years ago. Yeah, it must have been crazy. So anyway, they've got this wedding. Samson is at this wedding, and all of a sudden, boom, he gets cocky. He gets arrogant. Hey, I've got a riddle for you. And what's the riddle? He says, I've got a riddle for you guys, because it's a party. It's a drinking party. It doesn't say that Samson drank, but, it was a wedding. It was a party. Everyone's, getting crazy. It says, here's the riddle. Out of the eater came something to eat. Out of the strong came something sweet. Now, back in those days, that's impossible to know. No one knew that he killed a lion with his bare hands. No one knew that he scraped honey from this lion's carcass and ate it. No one knew that. Riddles are usually something like, oh, it's something obvious. No one knew that, and he knew no one knew that. So they bet. He made a bet with 30 Philistines saying, hey, I'll bet you your tunics you won't make this bet, and I'll give you a week to do it. Well, basically they go to his wife, they bully his wife, soon-to-be wife, whatever, and they tell her, look, you're going to tell us. You're going to tell us what the answer is, or else we're going to burn your father's house down. So Samson told her, she told them, he figured it out, and Samson freaks out when he discovers that they found out this riddle, and now he owes them 30 tunics, which back in those days was very expensive. It was a symbol of status, you know what I'm saying? Not cheap. So what does he do? He goes to the village over. The Spirit of the Lord rushes over him. He kills 30 Philistines with his bare hands, grabs their cloaks. So again, he's breaking his vow. He's touching dead bodies, killing, you know what I'm saying? So he brings them the tunics. And of course, a big commotion happens. You know what I'm saying? All of a sudden, the wedding's off. They can't be married. So what does he do? He flees. He goes down to a cave, I believe. So he goes down to the cave, and he goes down to this cave, and the Philistines show up with 30,000 men, and they just wait, or I'm sorry, not 30,000, 3,000 men. And so they're like, you know what, we're not leaving. They tell all his men of Judah, hey, we're not leaving unless we get Samson. You know what I'm saying? So they go to Samson, hey, they're going to kill us if you don't come. So Samson, they capture Samson, they bind him in ropes, and they're marching him back. Well, boom, he snaps the ropes. He sees the jawbone of a donkey laying right there, picks it up. The Spirit of the Lord rushes over him. What does he do? He slaughters 1,000 men with the jawbone of a donkey. 1,000 men with the jawbone of a donkey. I'm sorry, that's crazy. That's crazy to me. But, the Spirit of the Lord, that is, that's why it makes sense, people. So anyway, he kills them all, and you know what I'm saying? And then he collapses. He's so thirsty. Lord, I'm so thirsty. Are you really going to let me die? Samson, this guy, first he makes a riddle with all these guys at the wedding. He's a big old jerk. You know what I'm saying? I know y'all aren't going to. And then here we have him, Lord, you have to save me. This guy had an ego about himself, to say the least. Lord, you must save me. Don't, you didn't just let me do all this just to watch me die of thirst. The Lord, magically opens up the ground and lets him drink. Boom, he drinks water. Now, fast forward, Samson goes to Gaza, and he lays with a prostitute. And it says that the Philistines knew they were there, so they surrounded him, and they said, we're going to wait until morning, and we're going to kill him. Well, Samson had other ideas. He wakes up at midnight, goes down to the city gates, huge city gates, pulls the city gate off of its hinges. I mean, everything, hinges, you know what I'm saying? Planks, pillars in the ground, pulls it all up, carries it to Hebron. You know how far away Hebron was? Almost 40 miles. This guy picked up a several ton gate and carried it 40 miles uphill because the Spirit of the Lord allowed him to do it. Guys, this story teaches you that nothing is impossible with the Spirit of the Lord, okay? If you learn anything in that video, learn this. So he does that, and then he meets Delilah. So he meets Delilah. We all know what happens. You know, the Philistines come to her, hey, learn his weakness and tell it to us. Of course she does. You know, he falls for her. You know what I'm saying? He loves her. She doesn't love him back. So, you know, she teases him and, oh, tell me your weakness. Oh, it's ropes. No, it's not. Oh, another 2 times, 3 times. The third time, he really tells her. The third time, she wakes him up. The Philistines are upon you. He wakes up. Oh, I'll be okay. He calls upon the Lord. But it says the Lord has left him. He didn't know it. Samson didn't know, but the Lord has left him. Terrifying. I mean, when I read those words, I got chills. Terrifying. He didn't know. So boom, he's bound. They take his eyes, blind him. They put him on the pushing the wheel, that was a job of an ox, but you know they put it on him. So he's doing this, and then next thing you know, he is in front of the Philistines in this huge temple, absolutely beaten. There's nothing left. He has nothing else except the Lord. He calls upon the Lord one time. Lord, give me vengeance for my eyes. Lord, one more time, God. Let me die with the Philistines. And what does the Lord do? He lets him, the walls are caving in, no pun intended. So what does Samson do? Hey, this is it. My life was for you. You know what I'm saying? This was the beginning, of the, you know what I'm saying? God helping Israel. This was just the beginning, because even though thousands of Philistines were killed, all the leaders, they quickly recovered. It would still take, 20 more years, for Israel to finally. So, that right there is the story of Samson. If you'd like to read it, it's Judges. It's only a few pages in the Bible. It's only a few pages of these thousands of pages, but it hits hard, folks. And for all my men out there, we can all relate to Samson, even the women too, but especially us men. Why? Because women, that was his weakness. How many of us out there are women our weakness? Other things, other sins, you know what I'm saying? But never forget, no matter how down bad you are, no matter how, no matter if you're standing right there and you're chained to the pillars, no matter how bad you think it is, there's still, you know what I'm saying? God will still be there, and he won't leave us if you call upon him. So all that being said, that's the story of Samson. Now let's get into the movie review. Now, okay, talking about the movie, I'm not going to go really too deep into it because, like I just explained, we all know the story of Samson now. There is a few twists in here. Obviously, it's going to be a little Hollywoody, but this isn't one of those, Hollywood movies where they get it wrong per se. I mean, yeah, they add a few liberties in there and that are good for filmmaking, but for the most part, this is a great film, folks. This isn't one of those cheesy movies. This is a great movie with good actors. Several good actors. Jackson Rathbone, he was in the Twilight movies. Billy Zane, I think, he's the guy from Titanic, the jerk who, she's not supposed to be with. I'm going to read there's the back. I'm going to read this right here from the back. It says Samson, empowered by God with supernatural strength, endangers his destiny with impulsive decisions that lead to betrayal by a wicked prince and a beautiful temptress. When Samson calls upon his God once more, he turns imprisonment and blindness into final victory. Wow. Let me say that again. When Samson calls on God once more, he turns imprisonment and blindness into final victory. So no matter what you're going through, no matter what you're up against, you have final victory. And on the front it says, chosen, betrayed, redeemed. Sorry if you can't really see that. But, and this film really captures the biblical time period well. If you're like me, you love a good period piece, a good period movie, where they dress up or whatever. It's not modern where there's cell phones. No, I like good period pieces. Rome, The Last Kingdom, Game of Thrones. You know what I'm saying? That's fantasy. But, and I feel like this movie did a really good job portraying that, kind of biblical craziness. I mean, what I'm learning about reading the Old Testament is that it's absolute insanity. Like people, we think we have it. Guys, times are crazy today, but back in the Old Testament, oh my gosh, it was probably very scary. So, this film is epic. I'm going to go ahead and say that. This is an epic film, and I'm jealous that I didn't go and see it when it was released in 2018. But honestly, at the time, I don't even think I knew it was in theaters. If I would have known, I would have saw this in the theater. So if any of you out there saw it in the theater, I'm jealous of you. It's not like 300 epic, but it is epic where, when he calls on the Lord, you know what I'm saying? Because the strength does, he did gain strength, but he also called on the Lord for the strength, and in this movie, every time he looks down and he's like, God, and I just got chills every time. The music, if you know me, because if you haven't seen my shorts, I make short videos with the Action Bible. I did the short on Samson. If you haven't seen that, pause this video, go watch it. Go ahead, I'll wait. Okay, good. Did you see it? Wasn't it amazing? Wasn't it epic? Yes, I put that together with my imagination, with the Action Bible, and the God of War soundtrack, the video game. And pay attention, folks, much more shorts are coming from the Action Bible. So anyway, I just had to throw that self-advertisement in there because I work hard on those, folks. And I work hard to bring you guys, my original points of view. And, what can I say, about this movie? Like it says in the first in chapter 13, this was just the beginning of setting Israel, free. So he uses Samson. Samson was a crucial, vital. Like I said, he was only in this much of the Bible. The Bible's this big. He's only in this much, but what he did echoed. People didn't forget about him. People for Delilah. Let's talk about Delilah. What happened to her after she, betrayed Samson and collected a reward? She was never mentioned again. She disappeared. You want to be like Delilah and be evil and, whatever, or you want to be like Samson? Because in the end, God was there. And, I think that's a reminder, even though, I'm not saying it's the end, but no matter what you're going up against, and you're in the proverbial chains, you've got the proverbial, they took your eyes or whatever, just call on the Lord, call on his strength. And you might not be able to carry a gate 40 miles uphill, you know what I'm saying? But, or who knows? Who knows? I'm not one to tell you can't. You know what I'm saying? So, all that being said, I know I didn't go into the movie much because I don't want to spoil it for you guys. Honestly, I mean, I wrote several talking points of, spoilers that I wanted to bring up, but I've decided I don't want to because, guys, go watch this movie. It is on Pluto TV and Tubi for free, just with ads. So Pluto TV and Tubi, and you don't even have to order this from eBay for $5.99 like I did. But still, I have the physical copy. I'm a big fan of physical copy. But hey, this video is 20 minutes now. If there's anyone still out there, thank you guys for watching. Hey, we can all learn from Samson. You know what I'm saying? If you guys like this video, please comment if you want me to do, more, reviews or just even more stories from the Bible, because, I'm 32 years old and, I feel shameful even admitting that I am just now reading the Bible. I am just now getting into the Bible, but, maybe I will, you know what I'm saying? Now I'm ready. So, we're all on a different timetable. We're on a different time period. So, but trust me, get into this story. If you have a Bible, read Judges 13 through 16, or even look up a video on YouTube. There's plenty of helpful videos on YouTube that break it down. But what's most important, get the word. Get the word, folks. So I've rambled on enough. Please like, comment, subscribe, all those good things YouTubers say. I'm trying to grow the channel. I'm trying to hit 200 subscribers. And I know this channel has the quality and the original content. And this isn't no AI, folks. This isn't no AI. This is me. This is the Cambodian. So to all my Cambodians out there, thank you guys. We're making the army stronger, one more subscriber at a time. So, all that being said, thank you, and we'll see you in the next one. God bless.